Hey everybody, Zach here at etrailer.com. Today we're taking a look at the Titan chain ladder style roller tire chains on our 2019 Acura MDX. We're working with a tire size of 245/50 R20. If you have a different tire size than that, make sure to use the fit guide to get the proper style chain to fit your MDX. These are going to do a pretty good job of helping you out whenever you're in those conditions. We've got some light snow and you just need a little bit extra traction. These by no means are going to be, meant for really heavy snow or ice, but what they do excel at is giving you that slight edge whenever you're looking for some traction, but giving you a smoother ride. The way they do that is with these steel rollers. These steel rollers are on cables that give us a ladder pattern, so they're going to give us a smoother ride whenever we're in those conditions versus kind of the more aggressive chains, the like link style that you might be accustomed to. Now those link style are going to help us out whenever we're in more heavy snow or ice, but these are going to be smoother. So if you're looking for something smoother, these are going to be a good option for you. The ladder pattern, you can see they give us coverage all the way across the tire. That's going to help us out with starts and stops. Not going to be as effective in turns compared to like a diamond pattern style. So if that's something you're looking for, you're in conditions where you're using these a lot and you're in heavy snow or ice, I would maybe look at something a little bit more aggressive than these. But these are going to be a really good option to just keep in the back. If you live in a state that may require them, or you just want something just in case, these are going to be a good option for you. Now, these are meant to fit multiple different tire sizes. These aren't a custom fit for this exact tire size. So you can see we have this rubber adjuster on here from Titan Chain. Now this isn't included, but it's highly recommended to give us a tighter fit because they will sit a little bit loose and they'll shift around if we didn't have that in place. So definitely pick up one of those. They're constructed of a low carbon steel, so when it comes time to taking these off and you're going to store them back in the bag, I would consider rinsing them off when you get home. I think that you'll eventually start seeing some signs of rust on there, especially if you're in a state that has salt. You'll see that corrosion eventually. And they have a speed rating of 30 miles per hour. So, if you're in light snow and you might be able to go a little bit faster, definitely stay below that speed rating. I think that when it comes to this kind of cable style, I don't think that they last as long, especially in light snow. You start hitting some pavement in those different patches. I think you're eventually going to tear them up a little bit quicker than some other chains. But if you're looking for something that's just going to keep you compliant with law, be kind of a little backup in case you are in those conditions, they're still going to do a good job of that. One of my biggest issues with this style, though, is when it comes to installing them. You have to crawl underneath the vehicle, make some connections. They're not the fastest. Koenig makes some chains that are really easy and quick to put in place. Now, those are a little bit, they're going to jump up in price a little bit, but in my opinion, when it comes to safety, I think it's kind of worth it. I don't want to be on the side of the road in snow, slippery conditions, crawling underneath my vehicle. If I can get something on in a few seconds versus 5 minutes, I think I'd rather spend a little bit more and kind of upgrade my chains. But these are still going to do a good job. They're going to help you out in those light snow conditions. But since we were just talking about installation, let's show you how we put these in place. Now, the first thing we want to do is lay our chains out. Make sure we don't have any damaged links, anything's, tangled up too bad. And one thing I would suggest is when you get these, try it out in the driveway before the season gets bad, because you don't want to have to be on the side of the road when weather's really bad and you're trying to figure out how to get these installed. But once we figured out that they're in good condition, we're going to lay them over the tire. But the one thing I want to point out before we do that is we want to make sure that we have this smoother side right here where these cables meet. So you can see it's smoother there, and then it's open right there. So we want this side facing away from the tire. Now we're putting these on the front axle, and that is the only spot to put these on. If you have the all-wheel drive model, still a good idea to put them on the front. Get these draped over. And then we can go down and make our connections behind this tire. So here we're back behind the tire, and this is what I was talking about earlier, how we have to crawl down and get down on the ground to make this connection. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to take one of these little notches right here, and I'm going to feed it through this keeper. So I'm going to try to go to that second or third one to get a nice tight fit. Just feed it through there. And then once we get on that keeper, that little excess that we have, there's an additional little keeper that we can go to. But you can see this is kind of tight, and I'm just on a garage floor right now. Imagine doing this in the snow, on the side of the road, or in a parking lot, and you're down in the slush. This is not ideal. You may not have enough tail there to get it through that keeper, and that's okay. Once we get that connected in there, we can go around front and make our connection. So now we can match on the front through that keeper. So I was on that third one, so we want to be on the third, or we want to be plus or minus 1. That's kind of the ideal spot. So we'll go to that third one. I'm going to try to make it a little bit tighter, so I'm going to go to the fourth one. And then what we can do is we can get this levered down like that. You can see, just like that, hook it back on itself. And then we have this excess right here that we'd hook onto. You can see these are still very loose. So what I need to do is I need to go back behind the tire, and I need to adjust the backside and then match it to the front. So once again, this is the drawback to this style. They're a little bit more challenging when it comes to getting the right fit. So I went to the back, I made a few adjustments, I pulled it through, and I'm on the fifth one. So here on the front, we can either do the fourth, fifth, or sixth. So I'm going to try to get it as tight as I can. And then I'm going to pull this through and then try to get this keeper in place. Now sometimes these keepers can kind of give us some problems, which this one is here up front. The one in the back was fairly easy to get in place, even though it was, you know, kind of hard to reach. It fit right through. And it just kind of depends on how these little links right here kind of get made in the factory, in which this one's a little bit large, so I'm kind of having some problems there getting that to feed through. So kind of an issue with this one. That's not going to be something all the time, but what you could do is you could use like a zip tie or something to hold that in place. But there we go. Got that through. So you can see we're still a little loose. That's where those tensioners are going to come in place. So I'm going to grab ours, I'm going to put that one on. Now when it comes to putting these on, you want to make sure that these hooks are facing out away from your tire. And you want to try to do a diamond pattern or a star pattern as best as you can. So we're just kind of basically going away from each other to apply as equal of tension as we can get. You can see it's pulling itself in on itself to give us a better fit. We've got a much tighter fitting chain than we did. You would just repeat that same process for the passenger side. Now, when it comes to this, you can see it's still not that great of a fit. It's on there, it's going to do a good job. They're not that easy to put on place. They're not giving us that great of traction. It's only really going to work for lighter snow, but we will get that smoother ride. And they are, you know, when it comes to chains, a little bit more affordable, but I think that there are definitely better options that are going to give you better traction and make it a little bit easier to put these in place. But if you're looking for something to just kind of get the job done, kind of keep you compliant with state laws, these are still going to get you out of those lighter snow conditions. But that's going to do it for our look at the Titan Chain ladder style snow tire chains on our 2019 Acura MDX.